This episode of Rick and Rick is brought to you by Taskin, the first name in ultra-stylish, premium-quality travel gear like the Taskin Denali 4-wheel carry-on, featuring a sleek, jet black exterior, distinctive matte finish, exceptionally smooth rubberized wheels, and compact, lightweight form factor. Taskin Denali is one of the most stylish and versatile carry-ons anywhere. Save 30% on your next purchase when you use the promo code R&R Take 30. That's R&R Take 30 at TaskinSF.com.
You're just in time for Rick and Rick Rule the World, the podcast on brand innovation at the intersection of marketing, media, tech, and pop culture. And it all starts right here, right now, on the one show where everybody's name is Rick and everybody rules the world.
Next up on an all-new Rick and Rick, the outdoor campaign for the hit horror flick Obsession that's so effective, it's scary. New trends in robot boxing, McDonald's fries doing the moonwalk, and a whole lot more. I'm Rick Matheson, and I am joined, as always, by my good pal, Rick Wood. How the hell you doing, Rick?
I'm doing well. Emotionally stable enough to discuss robot boxing, but not stable enough to understand this McDonald's fries ad.
That's fair to say, because this time out, we've got McDonald's fries doing celebrity footwork, robots getting hammered in the ring near people getting hammered at the bar, and Canva building a psycho squirrel-based belief system. But up first, our top story. It's a horror movie campaign that didn't just do the normal promotions for a scary movie called Obsession. They made outdoor marketing feel like it might key your car or text your mom or ask why you're being so distant lately. This campaign started with mysterious billboards. I want to say it was New York and LA. It started with these sweet love note style messages from, quote, Nikki, and that's Nicki, and a phone number that invites people to text her. Over several days, the billboards were changing, and they appeared to get more desperate and unhinged with graffiti-type messages, while anyone who texted the number received creepy texts and voicemails, turning what would otherwise be a passive outdoor ad into an opt-in stalker experience. This is pretty crazy, Rick.
This was incredible. I have to say that every once in a while, somebody comes out with a completely unique, different way of advertising than what we've seen in the past. And honestly, this for me so far is the winner. I love this idea. You know, to your point, it started out as just a regular billboard with, a message of, I love you so, so much. Text me. And then there's a number, which I'm assuming, of course, that there's somebody at the other end. It's, like a real number you can use. And then just it progressively gets darker and darker and darker to the point where people online were very concerned about this. And they were starting to wonder, is this real? Is this not real? Is somebody okay? I just thought this was fantastic.
It reminds me of about 10 to 15 years ago, brands, I think like DirecTV and others would do these campaigns. It usually involved an AI cloned celebrity's voice. And one I can remember was Peyton Manning, where they would run these ads that pointed to a campaign landing page where you could enter in information about a buddy. You could say, Rick Wood, and I could give your phone number and pick from different choices. And then you would get a phone call and you would hear, hey, Rick, it's Peyton Manning. Rick said you'd be into golfing with me. I've been waiting over here at Shoreline Golf Links for half an hour, dude. Do I need to drive over to Emerson and pick you up myself? These things were hilarious. And it always revealed the person who sent it and deliver a funny campaign message. So people knew what was happening and, were ticked off. They enjoyed it. And I think this is a great application for a horror movie promotion, especially with it doing the outbound calls and such to freak you out further. And this is a great idea.
It's fantastic. Now, this movie has opened in theaters. It opened on May 15th. And the crazy thing is it had $1 million budget. That's it.
Wow.
It's a little bit of an indie. It's whatever. And on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a score of 95%.
Nice.
8.2 on IMDb and 95% on Fandango. So it's actually getting really great reviews. Now, I will say one thing without spoiling anything. One of the reviews that I read, I think this was from Reddit, actually has quite a stark warning. Apparently, this is a deeply disturbing movie that everybody's starting to rave about.
Wow. A deeply disturbing ad campaign to go with a deeply disturbing movie. Well done. And also, mission accomplished. According to Variety, Obsession has so far turned that $1 million production budget into $50 million at the domestic box office and $74 million worldwide. In fact, ticket sales over Memorial Day weekend, the movie's second weekend out, rose 30%, a virtually unheard of increase for a film that's A, already in wide release, and B, a horror movie.
Amazing.
Awesome. Well, what's also awesome is that after this short break, it's time for the good, bad, and the marketing, including a look at whether robot boxing is the future of tech entertainment or just happy hour with joint pain. So stay tuned.
This episode of Rick and Rick is brought to you by Taskin, the first name in ultra-stylish, premium quality travel gear, like the Taskin Air Duo dual-sided compression packing cubes. One side's 100% air breathable to keep clean clothes fresh and wrinkle-free. The other side's odor and water resistant to keep dirty laundry sealed up tight. Now you can pack up to 40% more in the same space. Save 30% on your next purchase when you use the promo code R&R Take 30. That's R&R Take 30 at TaskinSF.com.
And welcome back to Rick and Rick Rule the World with Rick Matheson and Rick Wooten, kicking off the good, the bad, and the marketing. McDonald's Malaysia pulled off a tiny visual magic trick. 2 fries arranged like Michael Jackson's iconic bent knees and heels up pose to ride the hype around the upcoming Michael biopic. Now, the genius here is that it says almost nothing and still gets the internet arguing, proving that sometimes the strongest brand work is just a potato with excellent stage presence.
I actually thought this was super clever. And I did get Michael Jackson right away. Like as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, that looks like Michael Jackson dancing. Did you see that or did you see something else?
I got legs out of it, but I didn't necessarily think Michael Jackson right off the bat.
Yeah. And I guess there's a big, like you said, a big debate on this, and I guess some people saw a man who needed to pee really bad, which I thought was pretty hilarious.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, so people saw all kinds of stuff with this one. I personally went to Michael Jackson right away. So I thought it was pretty clever. I was a little surprised. I mean, Michael Jackson hasn't been a big name for quite some time. Maybe he's more popular in Malaysia where this ran.
I don't know. If you'd flip this horizontally, it could also be a special K logo. Next up, Robot Fight Night.
Yeah, so I saw this, I think I saw this from the San Francisco Chronicle. It was an article about people going to happy hours with robot boxing, a giant ring in the middle, kind of like that knockout game when we were kids. And they get like 100 people at a time to come to these events and they pay like $50 each just to get in. That's not drinks, that's not food, that's just
crazy
admission to get in. They have these giant humanoid robots and neon wigs and they're, throwing the clumsy punches and knocking each other out. And I don't know, man. I think this looks like a heck of a lot of fun. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before.
You know what? There is some marketer out there that's saying, hey, let's market our product, whatever it is. If it's electronic, make it weird, put it in a nightclub, add vodka, and let's go big. This is crazy.
Absolutely.
The robots may not be autonomous yet, but they've already mastered embarrassing themselves in public.
That's right.
This is crazy.
No. Would you go see this?
I wouldn't pay $50 to do that. No.
You see, sadly enough, I think I would. I mean, just because I've never seen anything like this before, I think it would just be a blast to go check it out.
Good. Well, you can report back to us. Crazy. What else is crazy is this promotion from Canva, the Squirrel Industrial Complex. So Canva has launched what it's calling its Make a Thing campaign, where they planted a giant unbranded squirrel statue randomly in Brooklyn, surrounded it with fake squirrel-loving movement messages called the Squirrelites, then revealed that it was all about turning stray ideas into real things, real cultural objects or topics of conversation. That modern creativity isn't just about making assets, it's about making something feel real enough for people to gather around and even get excited about. Now, personally, I don't normally love the things I see people do with Canva. It seems to be a little overused, in my humble opinion, but it's kind of a clever argument. Some campaigns go viral. This one buried an acorn and waited for Brooklyn to join a cult.
I thought this was a good example of a show don't tell campaign that was maybe not executed the best way. I mean, I
Yeah.
felt like the idea here was pretty clever.
Yeah.
I even liked some of the posters that they did. But it kind of falls flat for me. I really, I think one of the things that Canva gets the rap about, and you even kind of hinted towards this, is that the quality of stuff that comes out of it's kind of low.
Yeah.
And then they go and do a campaign where, in some cases, the quality of the stuff is kind of low and it's a little bizarre. It's some creativity masked in a lot of campy. So I don't know. I feel like it was almost a hit, but in the end, I really felt like it was a miss.
Yeah, I'm with you. Part of it is quality, like you mentioned. Part of it is just always screams Canva.
That's right. That's right.
You want to stay tuned here, folks, because when we come back from this short break, it's time for Rick and Rick Loaded Questions, our multiple choice quiz to test your knowledge of recent developments at the intersection of marketing, media, tech, and pop culture. So don't go anywhere.
Hey, Rick and Rick Nation, don't forget to check out our website at rickandrick.com. It's double the Rick in just one click at rickandrick.com.
All right, welcome back to Rick and Rick Rule the World with Rick Matheson and Rick Wooten. Don't look now, but it's time to play Rick and Rick Loaded Questions. This is our multiple choice pop quiz that tests your knowledge. Recent developments at the intersection of marketing, media, tech, and pop culture. Rick Wooten's going to play in studio, and you can play wherever you're listening to this podcast. Rick Wooten, you ready to play Loaded Questions?
I'm ready, but if the questions involve squirrels, robots, or fries doing choreography, I reserve the right to answer emotionally.
All right, well, question number one. In a recent episode, Rick and Rick showcased new merch from, I think it was KFC UK, that was basically a see-through puffer jacket filled with pickles and pickle juice with a little tube you could drink the pickle juice from. In yet another picklishly weird pickle promo, McDonald's has launched A, Pickle Me Elmo, a giant dill pickle carved out to look like Elmo that you can eat. B, a pickle juice home remedy for fighting muscle cramps. C, a green pickle-flavored McFlurry called the Shamrock Shank. Or D, a new extra pickle whopper called the McDildozer. On the heels of KFC's transparent pickle juice puffer jacket, McDonald's has launched what?
I think it's the pickle juice fighting cramps.
You are correct. As Ad Age reports, McDonald's New Zealand has teamed up with soccer club Auckland FC in a campaign from McCann and Fleshman Hillard that repurposes leftover pickle brine from McDonald's kitchens and supplies it to players as an anti-cramping remedy.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, apparently the salty liquid has become a familiar sight in endurance sports because many athletes believe it quickly alleviates muscle cramps during play.
Well, Rick, I have to say one thing that I've seen as I've traveled the U.S. is that some people drink pickle juice in really odd ways. And in fact, one of the things that I saw was that people like to mix pickle juice with beer and they love the taste of it.
Okay, that's just disgusting. But apparently, yeah, it's a thing. So apparently bourbon with pickle juice is called a classic pickleback. It's a shot of whiskey followed by a shot of dill pickle juice. And apparently, fresh pickle juice poured into ice cubes or mixed up as slushies.
Amazing.
And in the UK, apparently you can suck pickle juice out of your puffer jacket. All right, question number two. Somebody somewhere asked the interwebs for a Gen X put-down equivalent to "Okay, Boomer." Which of the following was not among the 12,000 responses the person received? A, "Okay, Breakfast Club." B, "Zip it, Crystal Pepsi." C, "Easy there, dial up." Or D, "Rewind yourself, Blockbuster." Which of these was not one of the responses to a request for a Gen X version of OK Boomer?
I'm going to guess the dial-up one.
You are correct.
Nice.
Because the answer is A, B, C, D, and D. Because according to Yahoo Life, it seems that the internet agreed that Gen X, the latchkey middle child of divorce, reared on hose water and asbestos ceilings, that squeeze between baby boomers and millennials, they don't have any fucks to give. As one responder put it, "Did your therapist tell you that Gen X cares about your feelings? That's adorable." Final question. Speaking of generations, Generation Z grew up with the internet. Gen Alpha with tablets. But according to researchers at, I think it's STICS or Sticks.ai, McKinsey, Stanford, and others, Generation Beta, children born between 2025 and 2039, could just as easily be called Gen AI, will live without which of the following? A, democracy, B, privacy, C, college degrees, D, healthcare, E, offices, or F, pensions. Generation Beta is expected to live without which of these?
You know, Rick, I'm not positive on this one, but I'm going with privacy.
Hey, you know what? That's a great guess. And I think really I'll give it to you because potentially it could be any or all of the above. But specific to this particular post from Sticks.ai, for this generation, AI will be embedded into nearly every system they encounter, including education, transportation, healthcare, you name it. And for them, avoiding AI will be as strange as someone in our generation avoiding electricity.
Interesting.
McKinsey estimates that by 2035, so 9 years from now, 40 to 60% of existing jobs will disappear or be transformed beyond recognition. As a result, education will move toward a modular model that's focused on short courses, skill portfolios, and hands-on projects. The traditional office will be long gone, with a workplace defined by tools and networks rather than physical buildings. Teams will be ad hoc and global, and researchers at MIT and Stanford point to critical skills for Gen Beta that include critical thinking to distinguish fact from AI-generated content, adaptability to adjust to change without stress, and communication across diverse cultures and contexts.
Yeah, totally. I just saw a thing that said if somebody is more than 10 years old right now, that they may not grow up as being AI native, that, you have to be even younger to be considered truly AI native, which I thought was a really interesting paradox.
Yeah, it is interesting and completely consistent with this study. It's going to be really interesting to watch Generation Beta, whatever it ultimately becomes known as, and however it ultimately is defined.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, well, this is going to have to wrap it up for this episode of Rick and Rick Rule the World. Till next time, keep on kicking ass and keep on coming back to the one show where everybody's name is Rick.
And everybody rules the world.